Coming up to 10 years since Britain's vote to leave the European Union, 10 years on from Brexit this summer, and whisper it, but the topic is back. Not everybody here in the city is keen on that. The government, Keir Starmer, wants to reopen bits of the relationship with the European Union. They're looking at agriculture and food, and some people in that sector will welcome that. But there's been a bit of a pushback in the city, people saying, hang on a minute, leave us out of it. And why are they saying that? I think the bottom line is that 10 years on from that vote, the city's sort of made its peace with Brexit. It's got over it. And more importantly, it's found a new way of doing what it does best. If you look at the numbers, the City of London had about 500,000 people working in it in 2015. It's now got about 700,000 now. Headcount's only one measure, but it's quite an important one, not least given the debate at the time of the referendum about job losses and deep structural change. I remember that debate very clearly. And of course, the stakes were high, but looking back on it now, it seems a bit out of proportion. Of course, in as far as the city speaks with one voice, institutionally, it didn't want Brexit to happen. It could have done without the headache, and it has had consequences. But over time, the City of London, particularly the banking sector, has forged a new path. The American banking giants in particular are very, very comfortable with their place in London, and London remains by a country mile Europe's financial services capital. Indeed, every single year since 2015, the UK has been light years ahead of every other European country for foreign direct investment into financial services. And in fact, it's the European economy, the EU economy, which now stands to shoot itself in the foot by putting more restrictions on London-based banks doing business in the bloc. Reports out this week suggest that there's growing pressure for the EU to water that down because they're going to cut themselves off from London. And London, on the other hand, will continue to thrive, not least because of its connections with other places in the world. So people in the city are saying, we've made our peace with it, we've found our new way in the world, please don't start trying to drag financial services in particular back into more complicated arrangements with the European Union. It's 10 years on. I remember the fury and the sound and the passion of that debate. I remember the chaos that followed in Parliament. And now we can look around us here in the city and say they've made the best of it. And indeed, the city continues to thrive.